I remember being in my room the morning that my dad died. My nan was staying with us at the time, and I remember hearing her on the phone downstairs and getting really upset. And because my dad was in hospital up in London, we had a very long car journey to go and visit him. And I had a gut feeling the whole time. My anxiety was through the roof, but I didn't want to assume anything. And I remember arriving to the hospital and seeing everyone outside, and instantly I knew something wasn't right. My mum was upset, everyone was upset.
My dad came into school early to pick me and my brother up because he had a weird feeling that day. And in the hospice they have a family room, so he said, tonight I think we should stay in the family room. And we had an opportunity to say, because she was still here, and say goodbye, basically.
I was on my way to get my GCSE results, and then my sister called me because she was his carer at the time, and it didn't really feel real at that moment. I kind of didn't really know how to reply because, it was just a really weird time. I told my mom, and she just gave me a big hug, and then it's all I could really think about. I didn't really care about my results anymore, and it was just so annoying because I was going to visit him the next day as well. So it was like I just missed my last chance kind of thing.
My mum, I think, was quite a determined person, and she really wanted to be a good mum, I think, to me and my brother, and she really cared about us.
My dad loved the beach so much, and the beaches that we go to now are the ones we used to go with him, so it's like really significant to us as a family. When we go back now, it feels significant, and it's a really, really special place to us.
We would always go on a holiday, me and my dad and my family, like every single year, and we would always swim in the pool. Especially me and my dad would always have like races because we were the only two in our family that really loved swimming. So we'd always do that together, and we always used to have like a lot of fun.
When she wasn't very well, in that process I was doing rehearsals for the Year 6 play that everyone does, and I remember when I did that play, when I looked out into the audience, that she wasn't there, and it was the first time where I was like, oh, she's not here in the audience, and this isn't going to be the only time that she's not there.
5 days after my dad died was my 13th birthday, and the whole day just felt like a whirlwind. Everyone was trying to make my birthday so special, but I knew deep down that everyone was obviously still very upset from what happened.
Going to university was always something that me and my family always talked about, and I always pictured like my dad filling up the car with everything and all my stuff, and us driving there, listening to music and just talking. Things would have been like so different if he was there and got to see like how I was and how far I've come, kind of thing. So obviously that year I'll have my graduation, so I always kind of pictured it being me, my mom, my dad and my sister. So it would be really weird and like sad to look out and he isn't there, because that's like always how I kind of imagined it, even though it was like quite far away. So it does make me quite sad as well, because it's always been something we've talked about.
When I moved to uni, I moved away from home, you're living with friends who are obviously similar age to you. I notice more when they will go for their mums for something. I'll just be having my day, having my lovely day, and then I'll hear them on the phone with their mum, and I'm like, oh, I can't do that. I can't call my mum. I can't even call my mum to ask her about nothing. I just want to have a coffee with my mum or chat about nothing with my mum. It doesn't have to be this big special thing always. It's just the little things, and it will just catch you off guard as well, because it's so normal, isn't it? So every day for a lot of people to have their mum around at 21.
The day you get married is so significant, and your dad is so present on your wedding day as a girl. Knowing that I won't get that does make me upset, and having a family as well, like a family of my own, I think knowing that they're never going to know my dad and that I'm going to have to explain who he was, because I will want them to know who he was.
I think what Winston's wish has taught me is that, you know, grief shouldn't be something that we don't talk about just because it's difficult. And I think now I'm much more willing to say to my friend, you know, I'm quite sad about my mum today, or bringing her up in a way that's not always sad and heavy, but just because she is such a part of my life and me, I don't need to stop talking about her just because she died.
So our counsellor from Winston's Wish, after my dad passed away, was a staple in our lives. He helped us through one of the hardest times. I remember feeling so scared because I didn't know anyone else who'd experienced grief. Grief to me was this taboo topic that no one ever really wanted to speak about. But Winston's Wish has made me realise that it is okay to speak about. One significant thing that I remember my counsellor from Winston's Wish saying to me is the quote that there is a crack in everything and that's how light gets in. And from someone who really struggled with anxiety after my dad passed away, I always felt a bit cracked and not like everyone else at the time. And that quote really stuck with me.
So in my support sessions, it was really nice because they were kind of tailored towards me. So we did lots of activities based on like being creative. I got to like draw my emotions and how I felt about certain things. I actually made like a scrapbook of me and him and our memories. I started making this book kind of like 3 months after he passed away, and especially like having my first Father's Day without him, it was like a great way to cope and like write down my feelings and messages that I want to say to him that obviously I couldn't. So I made like my first Father's Day card without him being there. I wrote like a nice message for him as well.
I've decided to run the London Landmarks Half Marathon for Winston's Wish just because I feel that passionately about it.
I've never felt disconnected from them, and I've always felt that no matter what I'm going through, that I always have them to go back to talk to. I'm so grateful to be a part of them still, and it feels like one big family.